The rain was coming down in sheets as I pulled into the parking lot of the Willow Creek Motel. I hated this. Absolutely hated it. But here I was about to confront perhaps the most painful truth of my life. My name is Torin, and until a week ago I thought I had a perfect life. I'm 46, a software architect for a tech firm in Austin, Texas. My wife, Amara, was a kindergarten teacher, and we had a comfortable life in the suburbs. We'd been married for 18 years, and while the spark wasn't as fiery as it once was, I believed we were happy. Then came the anonymous email. It was short, brutal, and contained a single photograph. Amara, in a passionate embrace with a man I didn't recognize. The email had no other information, just the photo and the chilling message. "She's not who you think she is." My world tilted on its axis. I spent the next few days in a daze trying to reconcile the image in the picture with the woman I thought I knew. Amara noticed my withdrawn behavior, of course. "What's wrong, Torin? You seem distant," she'd asked one evening, "just stressed with work." I lied, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. I couldn't bring myself to confront her directly, not yet. I needed proof, something more concrete than a single, damning image. So I did something I never thought I was capable of. I started snooping. I checked her phone when she was in the shower, scrolled through her emails when she left her laptop open. I felt like a criminal, violating her privacy, but the need to know the truth consumed me, and then I found it. A series of text messages, hidden in a messaging app I didn't even know she had. They were explicit, intimate, and undeniably Amara. The messages were addressed to someone named Kellen. My stomach churned as I read through them, each word a fresh stab wound. They talked about meeting at the Willow Creek Motel, about stolen moments and forbidden desires. The messages spanned several months, painting a picture of a long-term affair. That's how I ended up here in my car, watching the motel in the pouring rain. I'd waited for Amara to leave the house, feigning a headache and telling her I was going to bed early. Then I followed her. She arrived at the motel about an hour later, looking nervous and glancing around as she hurried inside. My hands trembled as I got out of the car. I walked towards room 14, the number I'd seen in the text messages. The rain plastered my hair to my forehead and my heart pounded in my chest. I reached the door, took a deep breath, and knocked. The door opened, and there she was. Amara, her eyes wide with shock. Behind her stood a man, Kellen, I presumed, looking equally stunned. He was younger than me, maybe early 30s, with a smug look on his face that I instantly wanted to wipe off. "Torin, what are you doing here?" Amara stammered, her face paling. I didn't say anything. I just stared at her, at them, the reality of their betrayal washing over me like the relentless rain. "I know everything, Amara," I finally managed to say, my voice barely a whisper. "The messages, the motel." Kellen stepped forward, a sneer on his face. "Look, buddy, it's not what you think." "Oh, really?" "Because it looks exactly like what I think," I retorted, my anger finally starting to surface. "My wife in a motel room with you. Care to explain that?" Amara started to cry. "Torin, please let me explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been lying to me for months, how you've been betraying my trust." "There's nothing to explain," I said, my voice rising. "I'm done." I turned and walked away, leaving them standing there in the doorway, their faces a mixture of shock and guilt. I drove home in a daze, the rain blurring my vision. The house felt empty, hollow. I packed a bag, grabbed my laptop, and left. I couldn't stay there, not another minute. I booked a room at a hotel downtown, needing to escape the suffocating memories. The next few days were a blur. I contacted a lawyer, started the divorce process. Amara called, texted, begged me to talk to her. I ignored her calls, deleted her messages. I couldn't face her, not yet. My friends, Liam and Jasper, were supportive, offering a shoulder to cry on and a distraction when I needed it. But nothing could fill the void inside me. I felt like a part of me had died, the part that believed in love, in loyalty, in Amara. A week later, my lawyer called. "Torin, I think you need to come down to the office. We have something to discuss." I arrived at the lawyer's office, Logan, feeling numb. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I knew it couldn't be good. Logan was a no-nonsense woman, efficient and direct. "Torin, Amara has made some allegations," she said, her voice grave. "She's claiming that you were abusive, that you controlled her, that she had to leave you." I stared at her, dumbfounded. "What? That's insane. I've never laid a hand on her in my life. I've always been supportive, loving." I know, Torin, but these are serious allegations. She's claiming emotional abuse, financial control, things that could seriously impact the divorce settlement and your reputation. I felt a surge of anger, hotter and more intense than anything I'd felt before. She was trying to paint me as the bad guy to justify her own betrayal. This is a lie, I said, my voice shaking. She's trying to manipulate the situation to make herself look like the victim. We need to gather evidence, Torin. Anything that can prove her allegations are false. Witnesses, financial records, anything. I spent the next few weeks working with Logan, gathering evidence to refute Amara's claims. It was exhausting, emotionally draining, but I refused to let her get away with it. I contacted friends, family members, anyone who could attest to my character, to the kind of husband I had been. Liam and Jasper were particularly helpful, providing detailed accounts of our friendship and my relationship with Amara. They both confirmed that I had always been a loving and supportive husband. As I dug deeper, I started to uncover more about Kellen. He wasn't just some random guy Amara had met. He was a con artist, a manipulator who preyed on vulnerable women. He had a history of affairs, of using women for their money and then discarding them. I discovered this through a private investigator Logan hired. The investigator found several women who had been involved with Kellen, all with similar stories of manipulation and betrayal. I presented this information to Logan, who was impressed. This could be very helpful, Torin. It shows a pattern of behavior that Amara wasn't his only victim. We used this evidence in court, along with the testimonies of my friends and family, to discredit Amara's allegations. It was a grueling process, but in the end, the judge ruled in my favor. Amara's claims were dismissed and the divorce was finalized. I walked out of the courthouse a free man, but the victory felt hollow. I had won, but at what cost? My marriage was over, my reputation tarnished, and my heart broken. As the weeks turned into months, I started to rebuild my life. I focused on my work, spent time with my friends, and started seeing a therapist to deal with the emotional fallout of the divorce. It was a slow process, but I gradually started to heal. One evening, I received a call from an unknown number. I hesitated before answering, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hello," I said. "Torin, it's Gwyneth," the voice on the other end said. "Kellen's wife." I was taken aback. I hadn't spoken to Gwyneth since the initial shock of the affair. "Gwyneth, what do you want?" I asked, my voice wary. "I wanted to thank you," she said, "for exposing Kellen, for showing me the truth about who he really is." "I didn't do it for you," I said, my voice cold. "I did it for myself." "I know, but it still helped me. He left me, you know. After everything came out, he just disappeared. I'm left picking up the pieces." I felt a flicker of sympathy for her. She was a victim too, just in a different way. "I'm sorry, Gwyneth," I said, my voice softening. "It's not easy, no, it's not," she said. "But I'm trying to move on. I'm trying to rebuild my life." We talked for a while longer, sharing our experiences, our pain, our hopes for the future. We discovered that we had a lot in common, a shared understanding of betrayal and loss. We started talking more often, meeting for coffee, sharing meals. I found myself drawn to her strength, her resilience, her ability to find hope in the face of adversity. And she, in turn, seemed drawn to my honesty, my vulnerability, my willingness to open up about my feelings. One evening, as we were walking through Zilker Park, I stopped and turned to her. "Gwyneth," I said, "I know this might be too soon, but I can't deny how I feel about you. I care about you, more than I thought possible after everything that's happened." She looked at me, her eyes filled with emotion. "Torin, I care about you too, but I'm scared. I'm scared of getting hurt again." "I understand," I said, taking her hand. "But I promise I would never do anything to hurt you. I want to build something real with you, something based on honesty and trust." She smiled, a genuine, heartfelt smile that reached her eyes. "Okay, Torin," she said. "Let's see where this goes." And so we started a new chapter in our lives together. It wasn't easy. We both had baggage to unpack, scars to heal. But we were committed to each other, to building a relationship based on love, trust, and mutual respect. Amara, on the other hand, didn't fare so well. Kellen had moved on to his next victim, leaving her financially and emotionally devastated. She lost her job, her friends, and her reputation. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she was struggling, that she was filled with regret. Part of me felt a sense of satisfaction. a sense of justice served. But another part of me felt pity for her. She had made her choices, and she was now living with the consequences. I knew that I could never forgive her for what she had done, but I could move on with my life, knowing that I had found happiness again in the most unexpected of places. Life has a funny way of working out sometimes. What starts as a tragedy can sometimes lead to an unexpected blessing. And in my case, the betrayal of my wife led me to find love again, with a woman who understood my pain and shared my hopes for the future. And that, I realized, was more than I could have ever asked for.